Welcome to the Rugby Oaks podcast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show with your hosts, Matt and George.
George, we're back. It's been a couple of weeks since we've talked. Lots and lots going on. Let's get straight into it with the URC.
URC, yes, Matt, yeah. It was the Origins week. So the players and officials, refs, TMOs, touch judges. I mean, I don't think the TMO is wearing his old school socks, but all the guys got to wear their old socks, guys and girls, which is pretty cool to go back to your roots. I've gone back to my roots. Rondebosch jersey here. You saw two legends of the game wearing this jersey on Saturday. You saw Anyani Shamangi and Kobani Bobo. It was beautiful to see. And you had Nas in the commentary box who played at Rondebosch, but also I think in Maritzburg boy. But yeah, what a week. It was great to see. It meant a lot to the players because they get to don the old gear. I've seen some posts. Some of them are really chuffed about it, and I think it's pretty sweet to bring this to the game.
Absolutely. Look, it's all about bringing it back to where it all began for a lot of these players, where these guys got their first shot or started falling in love with the game. Those coaches, those parents driving you around the country to play your games, those tough days. I mean, even the old days of playing with no boots were referenced on there. Guys in Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Italy, South Africa, all bought into it. It was absolutely fantastic. Good to see that you still fit into your first team Rondebosch jersey. I was never blessed with the opportunity to wear a first team Rondebosch jersey. I'm not wearing an Origin shirt. I'm wearing a rather large Sharks shirt. And there's been a lot of talk in the comments that are coming through that it's a little bit too much of a Stormers podcast. Obviously, we're massive Stormers fans. We're Springbok fans as well. But we are fans of South African rugby, George. And I'm supporting my boys on the East Coast today. A little bit of solidarity with their season so far. It's been a tough one in the URC. But I'm wearing the colours of Durban, the Sharks. And let's get straight into it. George, probably the biggest round. Or game of the round. Stormers beat the Sharks. 25-21. What did you think?
Sorry, it's just you've led into that, and you've teed it up so well. I loved it. It was a great game. I'll be honest, the Stormers were all over the Sharks in the beginning, but the Sharks' defense was pretty damn solid, and it kept them out. But it was a great game to watch on a Saturday. The Durban faithful filled up. That stadium was pretty full, apart from the top two, which is covered with advertising. But it's great to see. It was, I think we were chatting during the game. It was like a festival, music festival, that had a bit of rugby on the side. There was doof going on.
The Sharks did a really great job of selling it as they branded it Sharks Fest. They got everyone down. It's how you get the kids involved, how you get them to fall in love with rugby. Look, no matter what's happening on the pitch, the results going your way or not going your way, Saturdays for rugby and Saturdays are for prize and parties and dancing. And fair play to the Durbanites, who, as you suggested, were down for the first part of that game quite heavily. They were dancing, they were jollying. It was absolutely fantastic to watch, and fair play to the team over at Kings Park, Hollywood Bets team, and all the sponsors there that made that happen, but was not enough to beat the best team in South Africa.
No, it wasn't. Shame. You feel for them. They did come back in the second half. When they brought on their new fly half, he seemed a bit more of a general, and they then had a bit of cohesion and started coming back, and we thought, oh gosh, are we going to lose it in the end here? But our Stormers boykies kept it in. Some great moments of magic. You got Sasha just cross-kicking across to Ben Loader, taking it, offload to Joseph, try time. It was great to watch. It's great to watch. Yeah. The Stormers play with a bit of flair. Love it.
It was good to watch, and let's be honest, it was a Stormers B team. A lot of our box, or at least our pivotal box, being rested. Folks like Sasha playing pivotal roles in the game. Warwick Gallant having a game. There's been a little criticism of him since he's come back. Had a hell of a game. Our scrummaging against, let's be honest, the Springbok scrum, certainly in the second half, was half was fantastic. But Sharks' tenacity, Sharks showed a bit of guts in front of their fans to put it back. I don't know if you saw the Sharks owner, Amaretti or whatever his name is, Masotti, came out with questioning the ref's decision on an offside call for one of the Stormers' tries. Did you see that? What did you think about that? Little chip from Warwick Gallant.
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it. I'm not being biased. At no moment did I ever see that in the game, and it wasn't mentioned unless I missed it. I didn't hear it even being mentioned. The Sharks captain maybe should have gone to the ref and said, but I don't know, didn't see it.
My understanding of the offside rule is that Warwick Gallant chipped the ball. By the time Warwick Gallant caught the ball, he put the players behind him onside. Is that correct?
That makes sense to me. If he's chipped it and got it and gathered it,
so he chipped it, he gathered himself, therefore putting Paul de Wet onside. If that pass was a backwards pass, then Paul de Wet was onside, right?
Surely.
Well, that's how I see it anyway. But look, all credit to the Stormers, and a lot of credit going to the Sharks as well. Listen, there's been a lot been made about a tumultuous season. I reckon next season we're not going to have much to say about it. They're going to come right. And let's be honest, they're still in the Challenge Cup. They've still got a really good chance with the dross in that league to come out with a trophy. And first European trophy, Challenge Cup, would as a South African fan base, would probably be happy with that. And that's because it's the day before the Champions Cup final where the Stormers will win. On to the second edition of the Jitske Derby. Bulls pulled away a little bit in Johannesburg, 25-10. Some scathing remarks from Jake White at the end, throwing a little shade onto the Lions, saying, look, who says they're this running team? They don't run from their own 22. They kick the ball more than anything. The Lions are not a running, exciting team, and everyone needs to shut up about it. What do you think?
Easy there, Jake. Bloody hell. Maybe he's been watching our podcast, because did we not speak about how exciting the Lions were? Cheers, Jake. Thanks for watching. But White, no, I think just chill out. He needs to chill out. They won. They weren't. It was quite close for quite a long time, wasn't it? Wasn't it like 55 minutes, and the scores only like.
The first half, I think, ended 3-5. It was quite a lot of rugby to watch on the weekend, so it was the memory is going back a little bit. But look, the Bulls pulled away at the end. There was a magic little moment from Caden Moody coming back from that rest period, scoring a try to open up the game. Absolutely lovely, showing a bit of strength there as well. I think the problem is, the Bulls had a bit of a chip on their shoulder after letting the Lions come so close in Pretoria, and they wanted a point. They had a point to prove. There were some fans out in Johannesburg, which was fantastic to see. But Bulls securing their place in the top, parts of the competition. Remember, Stormers and Bulls still have a lot of home games left in the year, so there's a good chance that the table might move quite a bit. I think Dobbo mentioned there's about 6 home games still to come, or South Africa-based games still to come for the Stormers. So there's a lot of change with teams like Leinster and Ulster still having to tour the Republic. That's going to move around a little bit. Don't forget Edinburgh as well, who are coming down in a couple of weeks too. So all eyes on the URC. It's going to be another blockbusting run to the finish.
Yeah, fingers crossed. The Stormers are in the final again. Stormers Leinster, who knows?
Look, maybe even the Sharks can get a couple of wins on the run in there. Look, their fans deserve it. What they showed at the weekend, the massive goal, absolutely awesome. It's actually a place they've never been in before. And I wrote one of the comments saying, when next time I'm in Durban, I'm going to have to go to Hollywood. What's a long name? I'm just going to call it Kings Park. Can we just call it Kings Park, please? I'm going to go to Kings Park and I'm going to have a good time. And the Sharks were fly. They said they'd love to have me. So next time we're in there, my boy, we're going to be wearing Sharks shirts and we're going to be hosted, hopefully, by the team themselves.
Fingers crossed.
moving on, George, I just wanted to have a quick chat about something that we both actually watched over the last couple of weeks. RugbyPass brought out a documentary called Wistleblowers, something that was sparked by the controversy at the World Cup. Obviously, the last couple of years, there's been a lot of real stuff, and social media's got a big part of playing it. We've always shouted at the TV, always shouted at the ref, and kind of then got over it. Now, with the ability to send messages to refs, to make incredibly awful comments on social media and tag the refs, and things are getting harder and harder. And I think it was a great documentary. It was actually really enjoyable to relive the World Cup through someone else's eyes. And the palpitations on those victories for the Springboks were fantastic. But it was really nice to see a little bit of a fly on the wall of how these refs do it. They said a couple of times, a couple of them referenced, we don't just pitch up on the day and rep them up. It's not how it works. And, they spend so much time studying the game, so much time reviewing what they've done. Look, it was definitely quite an enclosed system to protect the refs. So while they do review what they've done and those refs get told what they've done wrong, it doesn't really filter out. So I'm not sure the point of them really saying that aspect of it was because that's the frustration. We know that they getting dropped or pulled in or pulled out, but we're not hearing much about it afterwards to protect the refs. But it was a fascinating thing to watch, George. So, to see how they do it. Jakob Paper was on there. Very emotional from him, very emotional from some of the other refs as well.
Oh man!
But what a way to watch the journey of the World Cup through a different lens.
Yeah, it was an eye opener. I mean, that refs go through hell. You know it, and you mentioned it earlier. We're all screamed at TVs and stuff. It did make me sort of take a look at myself and go, "Yo, I've been quite harsh sometimes." But yeah, it was great to see it through their eyes, and it was sad. Gosh, I almost shed a tear when Jakob Paper got injured. And you can imagine people thinking, "Oh, he's faking it," and come on. Because I saw comments when it happened. They're like, "Oh, now we've prepared for this ref. Now we've got this ref. Got to adapt or die." It's the way life is, and it's a game. So
yeah.
I felt really bad for him. That was his last World Cup. He wouldn't have ref the final because the Bokke were in the final. But can you imagine? You would have had a semi-final. That would have been an awesome way to end off his career. And shame, a pity that he had to pull out 15 minutes in or something. It was a big eye opener.
But it gave other people opportunities, and Jakob at the end of his career, he's retired to a box setup. It's really had experience. The guys like Angus Gardner has to laugh. And if anyone watches it, there's a rather bizarre segment where all the refs are warming up, and Angus Gardner. I mean, look, these refs, they're never going to be the coolest guys in the world. We know that. It's very cool they're probably playing. But everyone's like warming up on the field, and the host goes and plays like a shadow game of rugby by himself, running up and down the field, making, blowing his line out, scrum penalty. How is he going to make these calls and that call? But he reenacts it by himself on a field, and it's so bizarre. It's so weird. But you gotta love that. They cut it really well, so he does the same things in the game. But it was probably a little bit too far, Angus. It was weird. If anyone hasn't watched it, go to RugbyPass. It's free. You just got to give them your email address, log in. You can watch it for free. It is a really good documentary, but it's got some bizarre pieces. And
the other refs took the piss out of it. They took the piss out of him when they were walking off. They're like, "Were you doing shadow?" But you know what? Rugby player, we did shadow because you're just playing it through. But it's like they're rehearsing. I don't want to ruin it for someone who's not watched it, but you see them not rehearsing lines, but getting the wording correct for things, for calls, so that they don't sound like an idiot when they're playing it. Because you're on TV, you got refs, players all around you, coaches, so you got to get the wording right, which is a big thing. Getting the wording right.
It's a huge thing, getting the wording right. And before we tackle the getting the wording right part, we'll preface that with there was a fantastic bit with your man in the final that he's reckon it as the knock-on, the famous knock-on at the line-out by the All Blacks that they then scored off, which was pulled back, which had no effect on the game because they got a penalty and they scored off that penalty. So just clarify that for everyone who's complaining. That wouldn't have meant 2 tries, it would have meant 1 try. Either way, right?
Yeah.
But he said, you can sit down and you've got to be logical about it because no one wants the game to be won or lost with a bad decision. Whether the rules are 100% to the word, that would have been a bad decision. It was a clear knock-on. Whether it was 2 phases, 4 phases, 5 phases, it was a knock-on. The correct call was made. And his opinion was, as long as the correct call was made, that overruled the sensible. Everyone wants to see a sensible ruling, and I think that's exactly where it came from. And I left that documentary feeling, you know what, I'm gonna give us a little bit less of a hard time. I've never been the kind of guy to abuse her. Certainly not thin and fucking desperate and stuff like that. But you always start and you always scream at the TV, and I thought, you know what? Never again. Never happened. I've watched Whistleblowers, I'm a changed man. And then I watched the Six Nations, Scotland versus France. And I saw Scotland score a try. Oh, my eyes, George. And it was not given because of the wording of a ref. The stupid wording of a ref was overruled the logical, sensible decision that ball had touched the ground as a try. And it was the wording, as we pointed out earlier, that ruined it. So, you know what? Fuck the ref. I'm kidding. You don't say that. Fuck the ref. They're good people. But again, another situation where they're making it hard on themselves.
Yeah, because that was a huge moment. Because Scotland wins that, they are one of the few teams left in the Six Nations on for a Grand Slam. One of the few teams that could potentially do it. I know Ireland's the favourites, but who knows? Scotland could have done something. They got 4 South Africans in their team anyway. Could have helped a bit, but the wording. If he said, "No, I don't want to bash Nick Berry because he got abused during the Lions series," but he couldn't see that it was a try, so he said, "Not awarding a try. Hold up." If he'd said, "I'm awarding the try, but can you give me a reason not to award it?" It would have been a try because of the way he's worded it. So it's just all down to the wording.
Down to the wording of the try. And that wording exactly was used in the Stormers Sharks game when the Stormers scored a try when was it Ben Loader?
Ben Loader.
And it was held up potentially by Lekenya. Instead of going, "Oh, tell that, can you award the try?" They've gone, "It's come out. I don't know if it was a try or not. Can you give me a reason
not to award it?"
Just look at the TV. It's cool. Done. Move on.
That's why technology is there.
Yeah. I'm
not French or Scottish, so doesn't
bother. Every Frenchman will swear down that there was a baguette space underneath there to slide a thinly sliced baguette in. Yeah. Under the
I got this. No, that was a terrible French accent.
Although, just quickly before we move on, DuPont's going to make his 7th debut this weekend. I think it's going to be a bit of a flop. And I see some kind of injury coming in. I don't wish it upon him, but you've gone from World Cup physique to 7th physique in such a short amount of time. Let's see. I'm sure he's got the skills to do it, but I wouldn't have done it if I was him.
He just wants to win gold, but hopefully, what's the history book saying in sevens in the Olympics? It's normally like Fiji, South Africa's up there with a couple of bronzes, I think. Yeah. I don't know, Wild Vasardini thinks he's going to win a gold medal at the Olympics, but we shall see.
He's not even going away. He's just going to Paris for a couple of weeks. Actually, it's for like a weekend because the sevens is over like 4 days. And then you're out. So he's giving up,
quick sticks.
on the French team to go and do that. Look, not something I would have enjoyed if, let's say, an equivalent, Colby,
like a Chesney.
But Chesney was giving up the opportunity to play in the rugby championships or going to it. I'd be pretty, like an Orange really at the top of his game as well. Like you'd be, bro, is it time?
Both those guys that played sevens, they came from sevens, so they can do it.
Okay, so someone different. Damien Willemse never played sevens.
Oh no, I'd be shattered.
You'd be disappointed. 25 that he's leaving at 15 in the depth. But look, that seems to be the French way.
In a phone booth,
Oh, damn. Okay. We're going to move on from this second tier rugby chat into first tier, into primary tier, into Springbok. George, before we go into the alignment camp, big stuff. There's been an announcement actually today, formally. Springbok versus Wales, Qatar Cup. And we retain the glorious Qatar Cup that we won against New Zealand. Where the famous V squad was installed. It's at Twickenham. It's going to be fantastic. You and I are going. We're taking some mates and have an amazing day. Anyone who's in London, get your tickets now. Because not only are you going to get to watch the Springboks play Wales, but you'll get to watch Fiji's father and a double header straight after. It's going to be a hell of a day.
That is a day of rugby, a festival of rugby. Kani Vachni. Yeah. Who knows now? Because you mentioned there's rumors that the URC final might be on the same day. So what teams are going to be, what players are we going to see playing that day? Regardless, it's going to be so lekker. So I'm not going to complain who's on the field. It's the Bokke. We love the Bokke.
Great prep for the Ireland Test series as well, and the Portuguese Test series as well. With the Wales team that have got some really exciting youngsters doing stuff that, look, they've not picked up a win in 6 nations, so they're doing stuff. They're making moves, and they're looking good. They're to a degree as Six Nations, successful teams coming through. But on to the World Cup, on to the Springbok first alignment camp. Rassie has been picking and choosing 47 players from here, from there, from everywhere to take to his first camp. Now, he has been clear that this is the first camp of 3. If you have not been picked in this camp, you aren't out of the running. But there's a lot of uncapped players that have been brought in at this stage, and I guess that gives them the most opportunity to spend the most time with the Springboks should they impress.
Yeah, there's 16 uncapped players, 9 forwards, 7 backs, and exciting guys. And I'm so happy for for all of them, sorry, not some of them. There's quite a few Stormers in there. There's a couple of Bulls, some Lions, a Cheetah, which is lovely to see. No Sharks, though, which is concerning. But I'll quickly run through some of the names of the uncapped guys. I'm not going to focus on the whole squad. I just
interrupt you, George. It is something that I referenced in December, saying I wouldn't pick a Sharks player that's not capped. And I got a lot of teeth, and I got a lot of people actually agreeing with that. And Rassie seems to agree with that as well. Look, you've got Mfunu, he's got 1 cap. Players like that have been included and should be included. But yeah, I think it's looking a bit odd over in the country. I'm resting today, by the way. Who I haven't mentioned. Stormers beat them on the weekend.
As you said, there's... But as you said, there are 2 more camps. So it's not the end of it for them. But I'll quickly go through some of the boykies here. I'm not going to go into too much depth, but I'll start off with the forwards. Excited for these guys. Prop, Netling for sure. He is a hell of a guy, and he's bloody hilarious between 2 poles with Stormers boykie. Got quite a few hookers. So we've got Jan Krobler from the Bulls, Andre Hufenter. I've been G'ing him up from the Stormers, Manus van der Merwe Cheetahs, and then Jan Hendrik Wessels from the Bulls as well. So 2 Bulls hookers in there, which is exciting for the Bulls. They've got good hooker stock. Then Locke, Ruben van Eerden, our Stormers boykie, who you've been bigging up a lot. I mean, I'm bigging up as well, but I'm so happy to see him there. And then we've got Gumeda from the Bulls as well, flanker. He's young, exciting. Another Bull, Cameron Anakom, and then finally a Lions player, Ruan Venter. He's a unit. He could tackle holes through walls. But yeah, that's an exciting group of uncapped forwards. And I'm particularly excited for all the Stormers boys. No, I'm teasing. No, that's exciting for those guys.
What really the teams
to
famously miss out on the World Cup, probably due to experience because they are a young squad. But it's lovely to see the Lions boys included in there. A couple of guys who got excluded or missed out massively for me. I think it's either Damani. I don't know what more this guy can do to be one of the guys who should be selected You've got Cameron Hamilton, you've got the other Bulls number 8 of the Gumida that's been pulled up. I don't understand why Rassie hasn't, unless he's got plans for the next one. It'd be really disappointing if we miss out on this really talented player. He's at an age now where if he's not going to make the box setup, South African rugby is going to lose him, and he's probably going to go somewhere like France, and his retirement, and that'll be a massive disappointment.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. But I'm going to keep saying it, like you said earlier. There's 2 more camps, so fingers crossed we see him there, because that's a massive loss if he's not there. A lot of people will agree. The whole of South Africa will agree, including Cape Town. I'll jump into the backs now. 7 backs.
Sorry, George. I don't think anyone could argue that he's a hell of an athlete. That is things he deserves to be there right now.
No.
It'd be a shame to lose him, not only from the Springbok setup, but from South African rugby, because he would go overseas and not be playing in South African rugby.
Where he lights up the field every time. When he was playing there on Saturday, unreal, unbelievable. So yes, Rassie, if you're watching, asseblief, make a plan there, man. Hopefully he sees this. Swiftly on to the backs. More Lions players, yeah, folks. Scrum half / fly half, if we're going to call him that. So Nel Nahamba got the call up. We've been saying it. He's there. So well done to him. I'm very happy for him. Got a couple 10s. Sasha, Feinberg and Gormazulu, Stormers boy, Bishop's boyki. And then Jordan Hendrickson, Jaden's brother. So that's another Lion. Lions backline on fire here. Because then they've also got Henke van Wyk, Quan Horn, and Morne van den Berg. Lots of Lions there. And then to round it all up, another Stormers boyki, another Bishop's boyki, Suleiman Artenberg. So that's exciting mix of youth and just Sanela, who's a bit more experienced. But that's, yeah, I'm happy with those 16 uncapped folks.
Yeah.
Don't know what you think, but I'm keen to see them get in the mix with the box.
Very happy for Sasha, who's been on tour with the box already. Sahela Nahamba is just having an outstanding season. His versatility to play 9 and 10 at a very high level is something that Rassie, if he's ever going to think of doing 7-1 again, it's something that Rassie going to have in his squad. And why not? Even at 6'2", if you have that guy floating around the squad, maybe not the starter in every game, but there's no reason not to have him on the bench. In saying that, we're blessed with number 9. And, options at centre, certainly the Lion centre is a Henke van Wyk, absolutely phenomenal player. He's an absolute unit, got that sharp muscular attack, on him.
Yeah.
Do we say that someone who's unlucky to have missed out is the Lions winger, old Edward van der Merwe?
I think so. I'm trying to cast my mind back if he's played a hell of a lot this season, but he hasn't been injured, has he? He's played pretty much every game.
He's played, and he's got that electric form. It's such a tough position for the Springboks because we have absolute world-class quality throughout the squad in our back three.
Yes, it would be. I do feel for him because then we've mentioned this before. Chisholm Colby and Kurtley Arendse, who have a similar sort of play style. But it is maybe a pity that he's not been included because then we could at least see what he offers or what he can add to it when he's there with the rest of the box. So it is a pity. Shame. I feel for him. But 2 more camps.
2 more camps to go. I'm sure there'll be some movement there. There will be some injuries somewhere along the line as well. So it's exciting days for the Springboks. They've got a big summer ahead to establish number 1 status by knocking Ireland down a few pegs, hopefully. And we start that with Wales. We ended with Portugal. I think it's going to be a fantastic summer of rugby. Stay tuned to the podcast. We will be on every week during that period again. Porker. But George, one last thing to talk about. We've had the return of Rugby That Rocks. We've had Varsity Cup. starting this week. Monday night will never be quiet again. Absolutely fantastic way to start the week.
It's I'm glad rugby that rocks is back. The way it all started back in like 2008. I think I was playing rugby at UCT. I didn't study there, but I just remember the first season, the first time it happened, and it was awesome. The crowds go wild. It's almost like American-esque with the American football. Much, much smaller numbers, but it's awesome. And everyone backs their boykies. FMB, everyone's FMB sponsored, so every team is called FMB so-and-so. But I'll quickly run through the results because we had the 4 games on Monday night. So I wouldn't say it's a shock, but Marty's at home losing to the current reigning champs, the Eagles. I don't want to say it's a shock victory, but it kind of is because Marty's at home is tough. Marty's I think 5-time champs as well. So they got the pedigree, but I don't know what's happened there. But anyway, they did go down at home. Then CUT University beat UJ 23-19. They were at home. So I wouldn't say that's not a surprise. UWs, they've just been promoted back. UWC, University of Western Cape, just been promoted back into the Varsity Cup from the Varsity Shield. And Wits took it to them and beat them 66-10.
Welcome to the jungle.
Hey, welcome back to the big leagues. The beauty of it is the promotion relegation. You've got Tux, who've been 5-time champs, who've been relegated last year. They're down in the Shield now. And they've got to make their way back. But yeah, shame. UWs have come back with not so much of a bang. And then Shimla's at home, losing to Ikes, the UCT Ike Tigers, 38-32. Again, I don't want to say that's a surprise, but it is tough to beat those guys in the Free State at home. And boys from Cape Town did well with the victory there. I saw Frans Steyn was there at the game. That's it, Francie. So that's pretty cool to play in front of a legend of the game. But yeah, excited. I'm so glad it's back. I can't wait for next week, Monday. Come on, Yankee Tigers.
Almost an Yankee Tigers fan, so anyone's going to be happy with that.
Oh, no.
Anyway,
do you know what?
We're wrapping this up as well. But George, it's been
I was going to say something. I was going to quickly say something about the Varsity Cup. When I played at UCT, I was like playing in the third side. And when Varsity Cup came around, it was awesome because then everyone got lifted up a team. So then I was a regular in the seconds for a few weeks. And I was like, yes, I'm actually not bad at rugby. And the minute Varsity Cup was done, back down again to the thirds. But it's great for when Varsity Cup's on, the rest of the Oaks get to play. The guys who are in lower level get to move up a gear. I don't know what it's like now. This was moons ago. It's probably different now, but my 15 minutes of fame playing second team against Marty's at Johnny Craven Stadium, it's painful.
Look, what was fantastic to see was the stadiums actually, in a couple of the things, pretty full. Now, look, they're going to be smaller size stadiums, but you're looking at a Donny Craven Stadium, a full Donny Craven Stadium, which has hosted URC matches before, which has hosted Surrey Cup matches before, which is putting in more spectators than Oaks in Wales and Oaks in Ireland in some aspects, those small stadiums over in Europe. And we're getting that at Varsity Cup level. It's making our players better. I think it's a key stepping stone into professional rugby at that middle. So it's same as what the American do with mega football, obviously at a smaller level. But you look at the rise of Varsity Cup, schoolboy rugby, Varsity Cup, and you look at the rise of Springboks, and something has to do with all those Springboks who have got essentially professional experience before they turn professional. Outstanding from South African rugby. Outstanding of the Toronto Puna. He started it, is that right? FNB sponsored. And long may it survive, long may it live, and long may it be bringing people out to work on a Monday night. Now, talking about your playing career, George, something very interesting came to pass in the last week, I was looking at the World Rugby rankings, and I noticed Greece were on there, George. You know, Greece were now an official World Rugby team. I think out of the 150 or 140, they are third from the bottom, the third worst team in the world. And some of you may know, some of you may not know. George's father was Greek. Father loved rugby as well. Loved watching his son play. And George has Greek citizenship. He's got a Greek passport. I did a little digging over the last week, and I've decided that I'm going to become George's agent. And it is my goal in life to get George a test cap to do. Not for the Springboks, but for Greece. And I don't think it can be that hard. I'm going to play agent. I've been trying to get in contact with the Federation for Greek Rugby for a week. I found a Facebook page which has no contact details, but has a very angry man who runs it that shouts in capitals after other people who don't care from about a year ago about the other clubs who didn't want them to get into World Rugby. I found one link on the Wikipedia to the official website for Greek rugby, which takes you to a gambling website. I kid you not. The link takes you straight to a gambling website. I have sent out dozens of emails to clubs to try and find information on how I can get my boy George a trial for Greek rugby. You've got Attica Springbok. They're I wouldn't say a big team, but they're a team over in Greece. I have been in contact with them. Hopefully they'll come back with some information on how we can get you into the blue and white hoops of Greece, believe it or not. And get you some test rugby. Listen, they had a couple of wins last year, George, against outside teams, Azerbaijan, teams like that. But I reckon if you've played villages level rugby in South Africa, we can get you a trial at the very least and document your progress going through. Now, you're going to have to start working out a little bit, doing some training again. It's been a while since those cold days of mixing and teaching rugby club that I used to watch you on. So we're going to get this done. Follow us on socials, the journey. We're going to call it Chasing the Souvlaki. Getting George his first international cap, because he's actually a hell of a player. And if anyone's seen you play, you'll know he's a hell of a player. He's dynamic. Got a little bit of, he's halfway between a Chiva Damani and a fridge. Okay? You blow the back end, you can play lock. You can even play prop Greece. If you're listening to this, if the Federation is listening to this, you can play hooker. So that's more of a Friday night thing. But anyway, follow on. I'll give you an update on how we're getting on next week. George, as ever, it's been amazing to chat to you. Guys, thanks for listening. Please, big thing that you can help us with. Please go and subscribe on YouTube. You can watch these full episodes on YouTube. Absolutely free. There's no advertising that we are doing to get paid for, anything like that. So it should be easy to watch. Not going to be in your face advertising. Click that subscribe button, please. Follow George on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram if you don't follow me. At SA Rugby Oak, at Time George. And we are the Rugby Oak Podcast. See you later.